Cool. All right. We'll give Steve a sec. I know a couple of people can't make it. I know Passy and Nina can't make it. I think there was one other person too. So um, we'll just give everyone a few minutes here, maybe 2 or 3 more minutes, and we'll get started. You sneaked out of a birthday party. Wow, awesome. That's commitment. Awesome work. She agreed though. Yeah, that's Nina for you. She's very noble. You got your samples in today. That's awesome, man. How do they look? Good. Did you get a number of samples? 3. Sweet. Awesome, man. How many of them look good? 2. Sweet. Cool. That's a good start. Is there one that stands out based on those two, or is it a tough choice between those two? One's not good at all. Yeah. That's why it's always good to get at least 2 or 3, because quite often you'll find you get one, it's just complete rubbish, and then you've got to sort of, if you only order one and it's complete rubbish, you got to start from scratch. Need to check the other two how they work. Yeah, sweet, cool. And then obviously just price and all that sort of stuff's the other consideration. So if they both work well, then you look at how much do they cost and all that sort of stuff. So what about you, Hayden? Did you have any questions? Yes, cool. Still waiting for Steve. Hopefully he's cracked the code and figured it out. Yeah, I might even just share this link once more. This seems to work. When ordering first batch, do you have the fear factor set in? Yeah, definitely. That's a good question, and yeah, I mean, to be honest, I still have that with orders now. It's like, especially when I'm starting a new product, you just, you're always like, oh, this is a lot of money. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like this is a lot of money, and it's like, who am I sending it to? Just some random person in China, So, yeah, that's always a factor. And I guess like there's ways to sort of minimize the risk. So you've got to, send it by wire transfer for big amounts instead of Western Union and that sort of stuff. And once the shipment's ready, I recommend sending out somebody to inspect the shipment before you pay the 70%, just so you know that they've actually manufactured it, it's ready to go, and that it's all good quality. You're worried that they will sell. Oh yeah. Well, that's the other factor. Like, will they sell? Like all that sort of stuff. So I think following the system that we've all been following, it's like we're making sure there's demand for the products before we launch it. So with your product, Hayden, like there's definitely a demand for it. Customers are out there buying it every day. So there's not really any risk that it won't sell. Even if, like, worst case scenario, you just had to sell it out over a few months and just sell it at cost price, you're pretty much going to get your money back. But I mean, ideally we do a lot better than that. We sell it at a good profit and keep reordering. But yeah, like we've definitely ascertained that there's a demand for the product before we launch it. So I wouldn't worry about it not selling. It can take a while for it to sell. That's the honest truth. Like, it can take a while to get it selling, 100%. But there's definitely a demand for the product. So there's people out there wanting to buy it. As long as you get a high quality product and you brand it well, then people will buy it, even if you have to run Amazon ads to put it in front of them and all that stuff. So I wouldn't worry about it not selling, but just make sure you sort of dot all the I's and cross all the T's in terms of arranging the shipment and getting quotes and making sure it's labeled properly and all that sort of stuff. So that's always important. So it seems like it's still just the three of us, which is, fine by me. Seems like Steve wasn't able to jump back in, but yes, small group today. I know a couple of people, as I say, messaged me they couldn't make it, so there'll be a recording that goes up for those guys. Chris, no, I can't hear you, man. Let's see, have I got my audio up? Can't hear you thus far. Have you got your mic unmuted? All right, we're being joined by a fourth party.
Yeah, Hayden can hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, man.
I know. Awesome. Yeah, I have just a couple of quick questions. Since it's just on her birthday, it would be awesome if we just can fire them at you or you give some answers.
Yeah.
And that's where we start now. And it's just a couple of them. If I can just do that quickly, I can come back to the party and everything. That would be great.
Yeah, for sure, man.
And then you got all the time. Because we're basically good, as I said, samples came in today, so we're going to check them out and everything, see how it works. And so one was written up straight away. The other ones we have to see and use and see which one's better. Yeah. All right. Was one other question that we had, and you said it before, like if the final shipment is if the product is done, who's going to check the pack? I reckon it's not going to be Alice if it's on the other side of China, is it?
So sorry, I just lost you for a second. So you said when the final shipment's done, who's going to check it?
Yeah.
I've got a service. It should be in the handouts. So in the handouts you would have got at the workshop, there was a link to a company. I'm just struggling to remember their name. But they provide a service where they'll travel out to the factory and check out the shipment for you. So I'll repost that link. I'll just make a note of that. But
that was in the hand.
Yeah.
Then it's a stupid question. Afton inspection. Arrange supply inspection. Sorry, mate. It's Afton inspection. It says on and ChinaQualityCheck.com.
Yeah, that's the one. Yep, that's the one.
Yeah. Sorry, stupid question then.
Nah, man.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
Now, because we have our graphic no, that was it. We have our graphic designer already working for us, and we basically all good for now. At least wanted just a quick, so I can go happy traveling. I've got those the video for the listing and upload for the handouts, and that was it.
Yeah, awesome. So you said you've got your graphic designer already doing work for you. So have you got a template from the supplier in terms of what the box or packaging or product label might look like?
Yeah.
You mentioned you're still considering two different suppliers. So which one did you get it from? Do they both have the same label and packaging, or?
Without telling too much about the product, obviously.
Yeah.
It's the labeling is good and everything, and they're basically the same. So it's just
Cool. Okay.
We already got a graphic designer working on a good friend of us, so he knows what he has to do and everything. So he's already for that, and we just had a fixed price for the first time, and he gives a little bit of, they say like, I'm happy to help you out for the first time, he's basically doing everything from the rendering and pictures and all that stuff.
Yeah, okay, cool. Sweet, no problems, man. Yeah, that's awesome. If you have any other questions, you can always post them in the Facebook group too.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll do that if we come across any questions, and if not, we'll speak to you in 2 weeks or okay.
Yeah, man, and say happy birthday to Nina for us.
I'll do that. Thank you, Lux. Thank you so much that you can answer my questions straight away. And Hayden, thank you very much for your patience as well. That you let me ask those questions first. Cheers for that as well, Hayden. Appreciate it.
Sweet. Awesome. Cheers, Chris.
All right. I'm back to my beers and the food. Luke, thanks again, and speak to you later.
Yep, rock on, man. Have a good night.
Cheers. Good luck, Hayden, to you as well, mate.
Peace. All right, so Hayden, just seeing some questions there. Still at the stage of waiting for Alice to send email on shipping cost. Okay, cool, no probs. She's generally pretty quick on that stuff, so maybe give her a reminder if she hasn't gotten back to you yet. And yeah, in terms of the handouts, that was something that I gave out at the live workshop. But as I said to Chris, I'll upload those into the Facebook group, just under the files section here. So you'll be able to check out those in the file section. They'll be up in the next day or two. Yeah, it would have been good if you could have made it, man. That was it was a good couple of days, a lot of information, but hopefully we can sort of recap on it all in these online trainings. So who we got now? Chris is gone. We've got Hayden and Viewer 5. So the mystery Viewer 5, can you please tell me who you are? I'm thinking it might be Stephen, but let's see who the mystery Viewer 5 is. It's definitely a small group tonight, which is fine, but we'd love to know who this mystery Viewer 5 is. In the meantime, you got any more questions, Hayden? Thinking. Cool, awesome. All right, well, I'll take the floor for a second while you're thinking. Just to hit on a few reminders for you guys. So, basically, where should I go with this? What was that noise? Someone dropped out. The mystery Viewer 5 dropped out. Just a couple of reminders. So, where is it? So just to run over the process checklist for you guys. I uploaded one to the group, but this is a more sort of brief one that I sort of use myself. So to run through it, we've got research ideas. Then you want to contact suppliers. Then you want to order samples. Then you want to decide on the product. Then you want to decide on the supplier that you're going with. Then you want to get the total quote, including shipping. And that's where a few of you guys are at right now. Then you want to create your product brand. So like, what are you going to call it? Is it Vegas Wand? Is it Seller Academy? Is it, Nike? Like, what's your brand? Then you want to have your graphic designer design your logo and packaging. Then you want to set up your Amazon account. Then you want to place your first order and, pay your 30%. Then you want to go inside your Amazon account and set up your listing. So you can, set up a very basic listing at first, which you can edit later. Then you want to have your shipment inspected once it's ready. Then send the shipment to FBA. So obviously pay the final 70% and send it through to America from China. Then you want to arrange your product photography if you haven't done so already. So you can have a sample of the product sent to Shane in China. He does great photography in China there. Then you want to set up your World First account if you haven't already done that, which is your US dollar bank account. Then you want to get your initial reviews. So at this point, the product should be arriving, and you want to get some friends, family, and well-wishers to leave reviews. Then you want to set up your automated email responder, which is automated emails that will go out to customers, which is pretty basic to set up, but very important. Then you want to run your first launch promotion. So basically giving away some units in order to get sales on Amazon and start getting more reviews. Then you want to set up your Amazon PPC, which is your pay-per-click advertising. And then finally, just optimize things until you can get to your sales goal. So whether that's 10 a day, 20 a day for that product, just optimize things, make sure the pictures are good, the listing looks good, and you've got some good reviews. And then just basically rinse and repeat. So that can definitely seem pretty overwhelming when I run through the list that way. I think I just lost my voice running through it. But that's why I encourage you to go step by step and not sort of get overwhelmed by the big picture. But it seems like Hayden's blasted out a few questions here for me. What do we got? Need a graphic designer? Yep. Can you send me that list? Yes, the list I just ran through. Yeah, I can post that in the group. Actually, I'll do that. Gee, that's a lot. Yeah, it is when you go through it like that. Oh, I just lost my voice going through it. But picture it over a space of a few months. Like for you, Hayden, I know you've already blasted out at least 6 of those steps. I think there's 20 in total. I think I just read out 20 steps. So you've already gone through about 6 of those. And to be honest, the first 10 are probably the hardest. So once you get to that number 10 step, which is basically placing the order for the shipment, they tend to get easier from there. So you're definitely well on the way, and I wouldn't get too overwhelmed by that massive list. I mean, to be honest, like the hardest part is really the product selection and finding a supplier, and that's, you know, I'm pretty sure you're well on the way for that. So once you've done that, the following steps are pretty easy in comparison, but you just got to take it slowly. Don't rush yourself. Make sure you do them all correctly instead of rushing through them. And think of this as a long-term investment where you're going to make money long-term, and not some quick little thing where you blast out the steps and, you know, it crumbles in a few days. Like, you want to build it correctly. They say a fence that goes up quickly falls down quickly. A fence that goes up slowly stays up for a lifetime. So that's the goal here. So it's pretty much just me and you, Hayden, on this call at the moment, which is cool. We've had quite a few on the last call, but I think, as I said, a number of people couldn't make it tonight. So yeah. So any crazy questions you got, man, just bust them out, and I'll do my best to answer them. I'll just go through a few more reminders for you guys too, and just remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So just in alignment with what I was saying before, you know, you've got to look at the long term here, and just look at the asset you're going to be building long term, which is going to make you money day in, day out in the long term. Something else that's important is to have the brand mindset. So instead of, you know, back in the day when I started selling on Amazon, you could really just launch a product and just hit a home run and just all of a sudden be making, you know, 20K a month, just boom, right there. It's not quite that simple anymore. You've got to focus on building a brand and something that you can stand behind. And that might just mean one product, it might mean 2 products, it might mean 3 products. But you've got to take this seriously and build a real business, and you know, look at eventually setting up a basic website where customers can contact you. Something else that's optional would be to, you know, create content in the future. So whether that means having a Facebook page where you produce content, whether it's just, you know, funny pictures and posts for your audience, or whether it's, you know, an Instagram account or a YouTube channel or a Snapchat. What do they call that channel? I don't know. Snapchat page. So you got a question there. So this webinar is every 2 weeks. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So this is the 3rd one. So we've got 3 more after this. So in 2 weeks' time, there'll be another one, and then 2 more after that each fortnight. So what did I think about your sample reports? To be honest, I haven't actually seen that one yet. Sorry, man. I'll check that out tomorrow morning. It's been a hectic couple of weeks for me, moving house and whatnot. So just going over some of the basics again. Going after the low-hanging fruit is important. So it's easy to, you know, have eyes bigger than your stomach and sort of think, oh yeah, this is a great product. It's so popular. It's going to sell like crazy. But if it's going to sell like crazy, then it's no doubt going to have a bunch of other competitors trying to sell it too. and quite often big competitors that have deeper pockets and more money than you, and they can generally bully their way to the top of the page. So that's why we try and go for the low-hanging fruit, which is products that are a bit easier to rank for because they're not quite as popular. But we definitely want products that there is a demand for. Products on a report were good. Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, Shane's really good at doing those reports. So one of the reasons that I didn't jump straight in and have a look at it, because I was like, I trust Shane's judgment probably more than my own in terms of product inspection. So if Shane says it's good, then yeah, that's awesome. Simple products to sell. So I take it you mean the product you're launching? What do you mean by simple products to sell, man? Yeah, you lost me. I wasn't sure if it was a question or a comment, but just try and repost it, and I'll try and answer it if it was a question. Seems like Mike's going nuts posting in all these groups here, which is cool. Good to see. So let's see what I can cover. So a lot of you guys are at the stage of, trying to differentiate your product and trying to think, okay, we've got a product idea now, we've got some samples, and now we need to look at how we're going to differentiate it. So there was basically 29 ways that I covered for you guys. Hayden, this is probably new to you, so you'll be able to go into that when I post it in the Facebook group in the next couple of days. But basically, you want to look at how are you going to differentiate the product and how are you going to make it unique and compelling. So if you just slap up a product that's exactly the same as everyone else's, then you're only going to be able to compete on price. But you want to look at offering unique value. So we've looked at some ways to do that. One obvious way is to check out one of your competitors and then scroll down and see, customers who bought this item also bought blah blah blah. Sometimes it's completely random, like you wouldn't add these things as the product as an add-on, but you can find something here that you can bundle with the product quite often. So maybe it's chalk stickers for this product. Another way is to look at their negative reviews. So this product is apparently flawless, but let's look at one that's not full of fake reviews. All right, what do we got? I'm sure this one has some bad reviews. Hard to hear me cutting out, is it? Okay, perhaps it's the way I'm standing. Let me know if it's better now. Basically what you can do is check out the negative reviews on some of the competitors. So we go here. At first pleased, but then disappointed. I was very happy with the fun colors. But when it came to wash the chalkboard after left, the color came off, but a shadow of the words remained. Yep. So this is what I did. I jumped in and looked at all the negative reviews with chalk markers. And this sort of theme was repeated time and time again. People not being able to erase it and being pissed off about it. So that's why we chose to add the chalk ink erasers, and we're still the only chalk marker seller on Amazon that has those. So that's just one example of how you can differentiate, but I know we've covered that pretty heavily in the workshop and stuff. But if you have any questions around making your product stand out, Hayden, just hit me up, and hopefully the audio is picked up. Can you hear me better now? Bad. Okay, let's see. What about now? Is that a bit better? Just thinking perhaps it's your connection. I haven't. All right, it's better now. Okay, awesome. I'm just taking the mic off my collar into my hand, so now I'm holding it in my hand. So, any questions that's come to mind, Hayden? Losing my voice a little bit here for some reason. All right, so I'll just cover one or two things. Basically, I just want to encourage you guys to focus on self-education with this Amazon stuff. So yes, you can post in the group and come on these webinars and ask me anything you want. But you also want to be educating yourself as a business owner. You've got to sort of, take responsibility for this business that you're building. And some of the best ways to educate yourself is the Facebook groups that I've recommended, be it The Amazing Seller, Amazon Sellers Australia, FBA Down Under, what is it? There's FBA High Rollers. There's a few new ones I've actually discovered, so I'll probably post them. That's one good way. There's also some great podcasts out there. There's The Amazing Seller. There is AM/PM podcast, which is all about Amazon selling. There is the Private Label podcast, which is another really good podcast about Amazon selling. So, and then there's also the third way is through Amazon seller support. So once you've set up your Amazon account, you can basically jump in there. Like I was in there this afternoon, just chatting to seller support, just asking them questions. So even at this point, I'm still, educating myself basically daily. I'm listening to podcasts and watching YouTube channels and all that sort of stuff. So I really encourage you guys to do the same thing and to not just take whatever I say as the gospel, because as I say, this is your business. And I mean, everything that I'm telling you, I've sort of tested myself. I'm not just, speaking for the sake of speaking, obviously, but, and I've got a lot of experience with this stuff, but it's also very important to be educating yourself because things change. Stuff that I taught 6 months ago might now have changed in terms of Amazon's policies or that sort of stuff. And the best way to keep your finger on the pulse is definitely in these Facebook groups, podcasts, and also contacting seller support when you need to. Something else to note is, more and more people are buying products online now. So, while Amazon is more competitive than it used to be, you really are in a good position if you're launching an online business right now. It's definitely booming in Australia and especially America, where, as I say, more and more people are buying all their products online. So whether it's art products, whether it's baby, automotive, books, blah 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 blah, all these categories, more and more Americans and more Europeans and Australians are all buying their products online. So that sort of feeds back into looking at this as a long-term play and not sort of thinking too short-term with this. You want to launch a product that's going to have some appeal in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, in 4 or 5 years' time even. So definitely thinking long-term is the key here. And also thinking globally. So I know someone that just launched a product in the UK recently. So they had a product that was selling pretty well in America, and they launched it in the UK probably only about 3 weeks ago, and they're already on page 1, number 1. So when you type in their main keyword, let's say their main keyword was, it's not, but let's say it was baby shoes. When you type in their keyword in the UK, they are the number 1 listing after only 3 weeks. It's crazy. So the UK and Europe is definitely a viable opportunity once you're selling in the US. How do you do that? It's pretty simple. So once you've got a product that's set up in the US and it's selling, you then just have to set up an Amazon, a European Amazon account, I should say. And from there, you just basically migrate the listing. It's very, very simple. You just say, I want to sell this product that I'm selling in the US. I also want to sell it in Europe. And they basically drag across all the images and the words for your product. And yeah, you just start selling in the UK. you do have to start ranking again. So you might be ranking really well in the US. You've then got to try and rank the product again in the UK, and you've also got to get reviews. So there's a little bit of work to get selling over there. But once it's listed in the UK, you can also list it in Germany and France and Italy and Spain and all that sort of good stuff. So it's a really cool opportunity once you're established in the US. So I'm taking it no pressing questions have come to mind, Hayden. And if that's the case, we might wrap it up a little bit early tonight, just due to the low turnout, extremely low turnout. And we'll reconvene in 2 weeks, and I'm sure there'll be a slew of questions coming in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for sticking it out, Hayden, and thanks for Chris, and I think Stephen was trying to get in there as the mystery caller, but what do we got? Yep, awesome, man. Yeah, I'll speak to you in the next couple of days for sure. Absolutely. Cool, man. Well, have a good night, Hayden, and anyone else watching this replay, and we'll wrap it up there. Any questions, just post them in the Facebook group, and I will have those videos based on keyword research coming up shortly, and the handouts from the workshop, so you guys can check out that stuff. And I'll also post up that checklist that I ran through earlier. There's also another checklist that I posted in the Facebook group, but this one's, I think, a little bit more short and to the point, a little bit more succinct. Yeah, cool. All right, I'm losing my voice for some strange reason, so I'll wrap it up there, guys, and thanks for listening. Any last words, Hayden? Any last questions? Talk soon. Sweet. All right, man. Catch you later.